UltraCycling Magazine show.
Well, hello, everybody. There you are, Eunice. Have Eunice Moon with us here on the UltraCycling show, who's going to be our guest host this evening. And he just sprung in here at the last minute.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you doing? It looks like you're.
I'm doing great too. I get to be in Hawaii for a week, and so nobody that doesn't suck.
Okay, great. Well, you're our
That
guest
doesn't suck
host
at
here
all.
this evening. Everything's kind of wacko. Jim had a flight canceled on him. He didn't get home today. So at the last minute, I had to go through here and try to reset all our scenes, get ready for tonight. And everything's just been a little crazy. So I'm going to have to push buttons. And I'm so glad you're here with us, Eunice. You're going to help me out. Okay?
Hi. You were breaking up. I think I just heard a part of that. I'm so sorry.
I said, you're going to help me out tonight, I hope, if you're not breaking up too much. I guess our signal to Hawaii maybe is a little weak tonight.
Your last, great to be here. It's been a while since we've been on this show, and I get to introduce my friend Katie. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, you're going to do that here in a little bit. Let me get some business taken care of. Eunice, things that Jim normally does and pushes button twos, but we just want to thank you for being here. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. We appreciate that. Subscriptions have been growing and our followers have been growing both places. We appreciate that. And we want to remind you that you can talk with our guest host, Eunice, and also with our guest of the evening, Katie Miller, by using the comments section of either Facebook or YouTube. And if I keep my eye on things over here, I can get those posted when they show up. So be sure to say hello. And if you don't have a question, hey, just put in the comments where you're at. We'd like to hear where you people are at here, there, and yonder around the world. I do have a little bit of sad news. We've been continuing to report on the situation with Sofiane Hisseli, the French ultracyclist. He's a friend of ours, friend of the show, who is currently being held in Russia. I have a article in the show notes, which is in the descriptions below the video here. You'll see a link to a Le Monde, that's a French national newspaper, about Sofiane's situation there, trying to set a Eurasia record from France to Vladivostok. And he got caught somehow in missing the queue and crossing the border and wound up in detention. And they keep delaying and delaying. And meanwhile, the relations between France and Russia have deteriorated. And we just think a lot about Sofiane. We hope that he gets out of that situation. But, you know, where the world scene is right now, this is not a particularly good circumstance to be in, Eunice.
It's a very pretty scary environment right now, and I'm so sad to hear that he's stuck.
Yeah. So we want to again talk a little bit about our charity, which is the World Bicycle Relief, and one of the things that a lot of us don't realize, we just go to the tap and turn on the water, and lo and behold, it comes out. Some people have to travel long distances to get their water for their household, for cooking, for washing, bathing, everything, and carry it long distances. And one of the things that people who have been able to get hold of one of our Buffalo bikes find that they can put that can on the back of their bike and it saves them time. Their journey is faster, it's lighter, they carry more water in a single trip. It leaves more time for schoolwork, for family, and well, the fact is this job usually falls on the women in these countries, and it's a great relief to them to have one of these Buffalo bikes, and they come about through the World Bicycle Relief. We're so happy we were able to exceed our goal of bikes for our campaign we had this summer. And if you'd still like to donate, $165 for one of these great bikes that lasts from 10 to 15 years, comes with repair services and shops and everything to keep it on the road. Donate.ucm.bike. Mobility transforms lives in these countries, and we're just happy to have them with us. Also, we want to talk about next week's show.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Ziegler, and I cannot wait to be on the Ultracycling Magazine on October 12th at 8 p.m. See you there.
UltraCycling Magazine. The show
We're going to have Scarlett Ziegler on. She's 16 years old, been doing a lot of long distance cycling, and we like to encourage young people and get them involved. And Loretta Holmes is going to be our guest host again, and we're glad to have her back with us. And she's preparing to chat with Scarlett. So that'll be next week, same time, same station, and we'll hope you'll be watching that. So that said, let's get on to our guest here. And I think we got it all set up and going. Katie Miller, how are you?
Great. Yes, great. Great. Happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, glad to have you with us. And someone's here who knows you a lot better than I do. So I'm going to turn you over to Eunice and let her chat with you. And you ladies just enjoy yourselves, okay? I may go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep. Eunice, first, before you start, Eunice, look at the shirt I'm wearing. Do you remember this shirt?
That's our Triple T.
This is how we became friends.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was going to say, we've known each other, 6 years? Is that right, thereabouts? I can't believe it's only been 6 years. I feel like we've had a whole, 20 years of experiences. But I think first time we really bonded was, carpooling to Salt Fork, right?
I think so, yeah, for this race.
American Triple T weekend. And found out that Katie and I were the only two people in our age group. And now I'm gonna say that at that time, Katie was in a whole lot better shape than I was. I was at the beginning of my triathlon journey, and Katie, the experienced athlete she was so gracious, and it's true. I mean, it's just you made that whole weekend so much fun, and I mean, God, it took everything out of me to try to chase you down after your spectacular swim and your fabulous bike, with that heavy bike that you owned, but it doesn't matter. You were just climbing up those hills like it was nothing.
I think I had my gravel bike on that.
Yeah.
My size 38 wheels or something stupid.
And it weighs like 30 pounds or something. I mean, it was like just a heavy beast that you were like up those hills. I'm like going, bye-bye, Katie. I'll see you later on the run. But yeah, I remember it was 4 races, and I did my best to try to chase you down on those runs. I had better knees at that point than you did. That was all I had going for me.
Your cheerful attitude. Oh my gosh.
Hey, Loretta's here saying hi. You see her?
Hi, Loretta. How are you?
We'll be seeing you next week, Loretta.
Hey. So let's say, you're Katie. Let's start with your athletic journey because you know eh, I've known Katie as kind of a triathlete, but I think you've done a whole lot more athletically. So kind of go over with us, how you started out, what kind of sports you did growing up, and how you ended up to be who you are now.
Okay. It's so nice to be able to talk about this because I see little little kids in my neighborhood now, and it's interesting seeing how they play. And that's the kind of neighborhood I live in where the kids still play outside. And it's some kids will play like they'll really play sports and they'll really play physically, and some will not. They will just kind of be drawing on the porch or something like that while there's some activity in the yard. I was one of those kids that was just like, playing real physical games with the boys in the neighborhood. I would play like King of the Mountain. I don't know if you know that game, but it's very physical. And I would win most of the time too. So that was the thing. And so I always thought I was going to be very, like a GI Joe, but for a woman. I didn't know exactly what I like. I was trying to articulate as a little kid what I wanted to do, but I know I always thought about being like very physically active my whole life. And I started off swimming. I swam. One summer, I did all the swim lessons possible within the rec department in town. And then I finally joined the swim team, and I stayed on that through high school. And then I also played tennis in high school on the I was on the tennis team. And, but I also played other sports like in the rec department, again, football, softball. I did a lot of kind of things like that, but ball sports weren't kind of my thing. And then when I went to college, when I went to undergrad, I started rowing. So I started rowing that sport, and I was rowing in an 8 or in a 4. So when you just have one oar. And then as I got older, I switched to sculling, where you have 2 oars, and I've been still working on that sport. And then I've just kept up with the swimming. Not super great swimmer, but I'm okay.
Please.
What I really like to do is swim in the lake. Like I really like being outside. I really find being in a pool is not my happy place, but being in some kind of open water is what I really like. And then I've through a lot of encouragement from you, Eunice, actually, I've gotten better bikes. So and with that, I've enjoyed cycling more. I haven't done a lot of races or competitions lately, mostly because I just feel a little bit lazy about it, for just getting organized. But I'm still cycling. I looked at Strava, and I'm still cycling a lot, but not like you're doing, like you've been doing.
We're on a different path right now, right? I mean, we're on a different path.
But I like to be physically active. And 2 years ago, I started playing golf. So I started with a coach golfing, and you got me into a simulator. So I got some good clubs. So I'm interested to do, I think, things outdoors. I'm starting to try to jog and run again. Like I'm really trying to work on that, it's hard because, like you mentioned earlier, my knees aren't great. I think what I really like is to be outside, and I like to physically move. And I think that's just been a constant my whole life. That kind of, and if I feel like I can get somewhere on the bike, I'd rather do that than drive, for example. So you often find me like riding my bike to the store or to to run errands or something.
Well, you're a very special situation because I think you have a lot of the European sort of sensibility about cycling and riding your bike, that, let's say, many of us who, especially me, I grew up in Southern California, where we say, if you can't park, I won't go. It's like, so your whole attitude about cycling and how it fits into your day-to-day life is different. So I'm going to ask you, how I know you spent a good amount of time in Europe, and I think that sort of shaped your idea about how cycling fits into your life. Can you kind of, let us know what that's like and how it was like living in Europe, and how that differs from how we live in northeastern Ohio?
Yeah. I lived for 4 years in Switzerland, and it's when it comes to cycling, you're right. The European countries, the Western ones, definitely have biking really figured out. They have created all these bike path. Many of the cities, many of the countries, figured out all these unique bike paths where car traffic isn't allowed, and you get all these shortcuts through a city. For example, if you're on a bike, and it's like in Switzerland, there's really good markings. There's trails, biking trails and they're all marked for mountain biking, and then there's trails marked, permanently marked. You don't have to have it on Strava. There's landmarks for these trails, for road biking, for gravel biking. It's really amazing. Even for kayaking, you can follow a map along rivers if you want to kayak down a river across the country. So they figured out a lot of these navigation systems differently. Yeah, definitely in Europe, and I'm sure other countries too. I'm sure I haven't explored the other continents enough, but yeah, definitely living in Switzerland. That's my main mode of transportation was cycling. I think everyone in our family had a bus pass. The buses and the trams were excellent, and I could have easily taken a bus or a tram, to get to work or something. But I just felt like I never wanted to do that. I just always wanted to get on my bike and go. And it was such a encouraged way of being. Everybody did it. And they do it in all weather too. So we get like ice storms. People would still go in that weather. You just wear different gear, and it's just so acceptable. And like you said, the parking is excellent when you have a bike. You really don't have to worry about parking, which in these cities, is a problem. If you want to drive, they make it very difficult actually to drive in these cities. But they'll have these routes always open for bikes. So yeah, definitely that's definitely what I was doing, and I still miss that. So I think here. We just don't have those connected bike lanes like that. We have some, but it's hard to share a road with the cars, and it's a tough situation to be in. It's dangerous a lot of the time. There's just not enough space. It hasn't been created. And I think this, Eunice. I was just in China. I was just in Shanghai for a week. And what I thought I would see in Shanghai was what I remember from old magazines and videos of just bikes going straight down the middle of a street. Just chaos, it's kind of like organized chaos of movement of people. But what I saw is now they have bike lanes. So they've figured out how to separate the cars and the mopeds, from bikes. So it's a lot. Yeah, even there, it's much better than here. So I think we can do better.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember I was so impressed with the fact. I mean, the reason we carpooled to Triple T, because you guys chose as a family to have only one car. And because your mode of transportation, even around northeastern Ohio, is a bicycle.
Right.
And I was just like, I was flabbergasted. I'd be like who lives like that? But I mean, that's a very European sensibility. You have one car, for the necessary trips that you need to make, and then the rest of it, and I know from following you on Strava, I mean, you're everywhere on your bike, and
Yeah.
it's just so inspiring for me, to see that.
Good. I hope more people did. There's a lot of people. I think now that they've put, I'm in Lakewood, and now that they've put bike lanes east and west, people are using
Yeah.
them. But when there was no bike lane there, like you said, 5 or 6 years ago, there wasn't a bike lane like marked on the road, so it was a bit scary, and the cars would get really close to you as a cyclist. But now,
Yeah.
because there's a bike lane, now people are using the bike lane, and it's much more respected. So I think it can get better, definitely.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's just, we have to, as a society, invest in those bike lanes and invest in the infrastructure that allows people to be more mobile on the bicycles. I think that's something that we're not doing terribly well yet. I mean, I think American sort of independent spirit is, a lot of that is, a car, and car before bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear a little bit more about your Moroccan bike trip.
Oh,
How many days was that, and what did you end up doing there? I mean, I'm like so intrigued. Like I'm like going, oh yeah, I remember when she went to Morocco. I totally wanted to do that, and I'm like, tell us
I don't
more
know.
about that.
I don't know if you could do. I don't know how to do it now because we did it right before the pandemic, and I did it with
Uh-huh.
a group of women, and all of us were doing it for charity.
Uh-huh.
And my friend,
Oh,
I did it with my friend in California, Karen Curley, who I've done a couple of these
mhm.
rides with. And she and I we were supporting this nonprofit. And it reminds me of what you were just saying, Lee, about the World Bicycle Relief, which I also donate. I also um, was pleased to donate to that and give somebody a bike. But no, that this program that I was supporting through my bike ride through Morocco was for it's called One Woman at a Time, and it's about helping women get out of like really bad situations in these different areas in Africa. And it's like Lee was describing, there's a lot of pressure on women, and women have very limited freedom and autonomy, and this organization supports those women. But each of us, there were a number of women from the UK who were with us, and they were all supporting different charities. And I think it was like a 5 or 6 day trip, and we started in Marrakesh, and is that right? And then we did this loop around, and we went to all these areas. I don't think. Well, they weren't expecting a bunch of women on bikes, that's for sure, to show up. But we just saw such beautiful landscapes and met such beautiful people. And we were supported. We had a support team, like a SAG, crew. And every night we would spend it in a small local hotel, and it was just very hilly. Like I just love the climbing and hot. I think at one point it was it was over 100 degrees a lot of the days. Very hot and
Oh my
dry.
gosh.
Yeah, it was very hot, and we did
Wow.
it in October too. So I couldn't imagine what the summers are like there. But yeah, so that was a great trip. And yeah, just a bunch of women cycling. I love doing that. It's so great.
Katie, we just
Well, I
did
mean,
some
it's
reporting from Meg
mhm.
Hakkinen, who did the Atlas Mountains race there. Um, it's a part of a series, I believe, Morocco, Greece, and then she just finished Uzbekistan, which
Oh wow.
sounds extraordinarily
Wow.
fascinating. but
Wow.
it's a race. It's not a tour like you guys did. But I just thought I'd check in with that. And did you get to the
Yeah.
Casbah?
Rock because
the Well, I'm old enough, the great movie Casablanca was a big hit during World
Mhm.
War II, and I think it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But
yeah, that's how we did a loop like that between the big cities, and then we went through the Atlas Mountains. Um, I don't think it was exactly the same route as that race you were talking about, but I remember we were talking about that race while we were doing it. Yeah, it's really amazing to be the roads were in really good condition too. So we weren't on like really rough roads. They were really well, well paved, good condition. So good for cycling, but it's really steep. I would say. I have to send you some pictures. There's some
A
terrible
lot of
zig
climbing, huh?
serpentine kind of things, but we were going up the serpentine.
Wow. Well, there's something about seeing a location from a bike that it's just so different than anything else. I mean, it's just you can kind of absorb it. Unlike being in a car or in a bus or something. I mean, it's not the same. It really you just feel in like you're part of the environment. On
Right.
a bike, and
Yeah,
so yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I
Do you
love.
have any other
Go ahead.
you were saying?
No,
No,
I
I was
just
gonna ask you if you had any more bucket list trips of different places you'd like to go on a bike.
yeah. I think what I'd like to do. I think I've talked to you about it too. Um, there's a bike ride through in Patagonia. I want to do a gravel ride.
Yeah.
And that is not, I don't think that's a race. I think that's like a tour. And hilly, gravelly, windy. I think it's very windy in Patagonia. But I really want to do that. And it's you know, they're on a different, seasonal schedule than the northern hemisphere. So it would be a great thing to do like for winter training, you know. Think about it, Eunice.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't think I have your gravel bike handling what scares me,
Oh,
because she and I, one of the couple things that we've done recently was the whole country Roubaix, and we talked about this, Lee, when we did our interview, and Katie like somehow heard about this from somewhere and basically said, hey, you want to do this gravel race, and I'm like going, okay. But I mean, climbing is one thing, but those technical downhills on that loose gravel, I mean, Katie, you're fearless. I mean, I'm like, trying not to die, and you're like, you're just flying down those hills, and I'm like, holy moly, how do you get those? How do you get those? Bike handling skills. I mean, I think you told me that you used to mountain bike a lot. Is that right?
mountain biking helps, yeah. But I think you've gotten more courageous. I think the first time we did coal country, was it the first year they had it? It was like
Yes.
that. And we got lost. Remember, we got lost coming back. And then the second last year, this year, yeah, you were doing much better.
Uh-huh.
Much better. And I was dragging behind, and then I got lost. But yeah, I think the trick with gravel riding, right, is not braking, right? That's the trick. I'm being facetious. I'm joking. You have to find a good line.
Kind of not.
You have to find a good line.
Just take it.
But that's a really nice
Um,
ride. I hope we could do it again this year, coming year. We'll see.
yeah. Any interest in doing the 100 miles, or are we still sticking to the 56K or 100K?
We could. I think last year I'm glad we didn't do it longer because I was surprised how cold it was and how underdressed I was.
It was.
I was happy
Yeah.
to um, wrap it up, but I
Done.
need a better weather report this year. And yeah, we could do the 100,
Uh-huh.
100 miler. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's probably more than I ever need to do, but at the same time, I mean, we take it a little slower and, I mean, it's going to be climbing, climbing, climbing. Now, Katie also did um, what was the 100 miles we did in that crazy heat? It was Garrett County Grand Fondo, right?
Yes.
That was with 108 miles, and because we got lost, 108 miles with something like 13,000 feet of climbing on a road bike,
Yeah.
and 90 heat with like heat index of like 104 or something horrible like that. Remember that?
That was a horrible. But I'm so proud of that challenge.
Uh-huh.
I wear that hat almost every day,
Uh-huh.
from that ride.
Yeah.
And I just think
Yeah.
about that every day. But especially the discussion we had afterwards where you had finished ahead of me and we were talking about just the weight differential between the bikes and how
Yeah.
when you have such
Our
a
bikes.
the whole setup, our body weight to the bike, just the weight differential was really big between the two of us, and we were still having to both have to climb up and down those hills, and how that affected all the riders.
Yeah.
Those
Well,
hills are very hard
just
and
for
very heavy.
the audience here, Katie's like 5'7", and I'm like 5'3" and a half. And I was riding my top end tarmac, which probably weighs nothing. And Katie came with a gravel bike,
With the
but you had
with
road wheels, right?
wheels. I had smaller wheels, fast wheels apparently,
Yes,
but
you had road wheels. Yeah.
I thought we decided that I was at least 25 pounds heavier or something crazy. So yeah,
Between the bike and yeah.
next time I gotta
Did,
get
did
that.
we did we convince you from that ride to buy a new bike? I believe.
Yes, that's what did it.
And how do you like your new bike?
I like my new bike. It's very zippy. It's a Roubaix. I think you had a Roubaix, a Specialized Roubaix. It's the
Yeah.
2025, and I really like it. It's really a lot lighter. I think it's 17 pounds or something, and
Oh, that's nice.
it's got the
That's a good
automatic.
climbing bike.
Yeah, it's a good
Oh,
climbing
you get
bike.
the electric. Okay, DI2.
Yes,
Nice.
and the hydraulic brakes. It's
The disc
nice.
brakes.
It's
Yeah.
got this sort of not shock. It's got some kind of like
Flex.
force
Yeah.
absorber, like in the handle, in the stem.
Uh-huh.
So it's not so hard like on these, if I hit some acorns or something or some potholes, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
So it's actually much better on my back and everything to ride it. So that's why I was hoping I could have a nice road bike I could ride, a little bit longer, just not feel so terrible afterwards getting off the bike. So it's important.
Well, I'm so happy for you, and that's going to allow us to do a lot more bicycle adventures. This coming year.
Yes.
We'll have to strategize about what we want to do.
Yes.
Aside from the cold country Roubaix, which is going to be a definite thing, unless something happens and I sign up for something ridiculous around that time. But otherwise, I'm already signed up for it. So I don't know if you are, but
you already signed up. That's smart. I'll
Mhm.
write that down.
Yeah, I think I signed up for the 100K. So I'll have to talk to Joe about somehow if I need to pay a difference for something to do the 100 miles. But you and I are going to do that this year.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Hey, this has been great. I haven't had to work at all. I always love this. Get a couple of friends on here and get to chatting about ultracycling, and I hope some people see this and get the enthusiasm for trying this. You don't have to jump into it whole hog like these ladies have. There's much, there's places where you could just sort of dip your finger in. There's 6-hour races and 12-hour races and so forth. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that next week.
Yeah.
And some of the opportunities that's out there to just get yourself started in this kind of thing. Try it out. You never know. You might find yourself better than you think. I think that's what happened to you people. You tried it out, and hey, this is okay, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
and you learn a lot
It's
about
addictive.
yourself, right?
Yeah, it's addictive. I mean, the whole long distance cycling is like type 2 fun, right? Just a little bit of shared like sweat and misery, among friends. It's a beautiful thing.
But yeah, you can. That's the good thing about it, right? Because you can socialize through it. I think Eunice, you're a great example of that. Like finding different groups to ride with all over the place. You found people and made it social. You made it very social for me and fun and memorable. And then so many hours. 10 hours later, you burned 5,000 calories.
I'm done.
Finally done.
Oh, that beer was so good after that Garrett County Grand Fondo. I mean, I just it was so delicious.
One thing I want to find out more about next week when we have Loretta on, she started a team of women. I don't know. Have you heard about this?
I follow her on Facebook, and I saw something that she had posted recently about that
I think
team.
She and Heather and Amanda Coker is maybe their coach. They got a couple other people signed up around the nation. I don't think there's any international riders. I will find out from Loretta, and we talk a little more to her next week when we have Scarlett on, and I'm looking forward to that because I think it's important to encourage new riders, young riders like Scarlett, particularly a young woman. That's one of the show's objective is to try to bring more women into this sport. And you certainly are role models that you can be a woman and have a heck of a lot of fun out there doing this crazy, insane thing of ultracycling. Thank you for
Longer the
being
better.
with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We want to thank everyone for watching. Don't go away. We're going to find Greg here, and we thank everybody. Be sure to turn in next week for Scarlett Ziegler. Hey, there's a good Pennsylvania Dutch name for you. My name's Kreider. I'm Pennsylvania Dutch, so we are. Whatever our ethnicity is, we'll try to get that in there. But anyhow, actually, she's from Pennsylvania. But so anyhow, next week, Scarlett Ziegler, Loretta Holmes will be our co-host. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Eunice. You did a great job with chatting with Eunice.
I made it. Wasn't sure, but I made it.
We might put you on the payroll. Who knows?
Yeah, put her on the payroll.
Thank you so much. Stay on while we say goodbye here, okay?
Okay. I hope your race goes great, Eunice.
Thank you.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.